Hey YouTube, we're in an undisclosed location today, and we're just going through our mess of storage and things and kind of plucking out what we're wanting to salvage and what we're not. So I got a bunch of small TVs that I got recently that we're going to take a look at. This first one is this Sony. I'm told it's from around 72. Let's see what the model is on KV 12 something or other. Hard to see what it is. KV 1201. It was a freebie. It's kind of in rough shape. I have no idea if it's good or not. The last one of these I had a bad CRT, so I've got it plugged in here. We're just going to turn it on and see what happens. Looks like it has one of those instant on things. Lots of blooming there. And we got some horizontal fold over. Yeah, not looking so great. It's got a lot of defocusing and blooming, which may be indicative of CRT going bad, but we'll have to check that out. And we've got picture but no sound. There's still a couple of stations in Tijuana that broadcast in analog. It's got good grayscale, it's just not very bright and it's kind of blurry. The picture is very crooked. So, at least it shows signs of life. The next thing to do is get the CRT tester on it and see what the guns look like. Here it is with the back off. You can see it's a pretty open and airy modular chassis. Lots of dust. There's your power supply filters, your click type rotary VHF, and your continuous UHF. The convergence and everything is done electrostatically on these, so that's why there's an anode coming in. You got a high voltage block here. Obviously the flyback's inside. You've got a focus divider and tripler. Your rectifier diodes looks like. Main board here. Lots of dust. Okay, so there's our CRT layout. You can see they've got one control grid, accelerator grid, and focus grid, and then everything else is controlled individually by cathodes, instead of having individual grids and stuff for each gun like the old Deltas do. So let's get the CRT checker on it and figure out how we're doing. Alright, so we got this thing wired up to the infamous Beltron. I got one of the universal clip lead adapters, makes it really easy. And at 6 volts, actually doing pretty good. Maybe the focusing issue is just a bad focus divider. We turn it down to 5 volts. Then we start to see it drop pretty badly. So this is really kind of tired and worn out. You drop it down to 5 volts and it ain't squat. What we can do is the infamous cleaning test. I don't want to rejuve it. I think that'll just hurt it. Just clean it up a little bit. Turn the voltage up until we see the lights come on. There we go. Let's clean it up a little bit. There's one. So let's go back down to 6 and check our emission again. About the same as before. And let's turn it back down to 5. There we go. So at 5 volts it's doing alright now. So this is at least a television set worth pursuing. Now that we know that the guns look good. Cool. Well, I guess the next thing to do is dust the thing out and do some setup adjustments and see what we can get from it. But at least we've got a good CRT. We can do a cutoff test from 6 volts and count how many seconds it takes for the emission to fall off. That's really the test to show you how good it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, blue falls flat. So it's not great, but it should make a watchable picture. And when you bring it back, blue is the last to come up. It's a little tired. But it's better than dead. The last one of these I had of this generation was just utterly dead. They're not very good on CRTs because of that instant on thing. So I guess we can try one more round of cleaning and see if that improves it, but I doubt it. Yeah, not getting any better. So we'll just leave it at that and move on. See if we can clean some of the dust off of here. It's kind of gross looking. It's nice when you get a hold of something that's got signs of life. I rescue a lot of stuff from e-waste places and it's just spent. Which is good in the sense that they got their use out of it, but I like to be able to have these things and be able to use them once in a while and have fun with them. It's kind of a hobby. That's why I like restoring them. So it's really sad to come across a cool time warp find like a 72 Trinitron only to find that the CRT is just wasted. Got this really super fine dust in it. Don't breathe it. When we're done dusting this, we'll take it out and use the air to blow the rest of the loose dirt out. High voltage does a great job of attracting dust. One more thing I find neat about these Trinitrons is the multitude of adjustments that are on them. You get, at the very least, you get ones for the screen and for the drive, and then you've got ones for horizontal and vertical and all that sort of thing. But then there's more than that. There's your focus adjustment there. There's your convergence adjustments there. Your focus is down here on the CRT neckboard. Let me get it flipped up on its face and you can see the rest of them. So underneath you've got even more. Let's look at the bottom of the cover. So you've got on the back, you've got horizontal centering, horizontal size, vertical size, your screens, and then you've got vertical linearity, tilt, pin connection correction, horizontal oscillator frequency. That's quite a bit of tweaking for something that's available to the user. Oh no, the thing on the neck board was the screen adjustment. Cool. So we got it dusted out for the most part. There's still some junk here. And then we'll take the chassis out and blow it out. There's your regulator. Convergence is all done electrostatically, which is kind of neat. And electrodynamic there for the side convergence. It's been a while since I took one of these apart. Alright, so pause while I go blow the dirt out of this thing, and then we'll see if we can tweak it some. Once you've had an opportunity to clean it up, you can actually see that it's really in good shape. There's no corrosion or signs of component death. I'm not sure why my camera has such a hard time focusing on this chassis. But it looks really clean. There's not a lot of garbage on here or anything. It looks good. Definitely an East County TV. If we were towards the coast more, you'd see lots more rust. So this is actually really nice looking inside. Alright. So there it is, powered up again. I happen to have the handy dandy rabbit ears. Let's plug those in and see if we get a better picture. Probably not. Nah, not really. All the digital garbage. Alright, time to get the test pattern generator. Well, here it is with the old WR64B hooked up. Tubes are still warming up, so it's a little bit unstable. The vertical oscillator always takes a time to stabilize, but look at that. Look at that almost perfect convergence. Wowee. Come on, focus. There we go. That's impressive. CRT really is in pretty good shape. Let's see if we can Nope. It's pretty much good as it gets. Adjust the convergence a little bit to get the vertical straightened up. Wow. This thing is just doing really good. Well, now the moment of truth. We still got that bit of fold over there. I'm not sure if that's a horizontal centering control. Let's see if I can. I can't get to it with that. Let me go get a smaller insulated tool and we'll see if we can change the fold over at all. Ooh, twitchy, twitchy. Probably that vertical adjustment. Yep. Vertical's touchy on this. Probably old capacitors. I'm going to get a smaller tool and I'll see if I can find the sweet spot for the centering. Well, the centering control really doesn't do much. It just moves the bars over to one side or another. So we need to look at why it's trying to fold over on the sides. Again, probably old capacitors. Let's go over to color bars and see where we're at. Not very bright. Let's try fine tuning. Pretty good color response, actually. That's their automatic. Let's see. That looks a little better. It needs to be degaussed up here in the corner. Not bad. Pretty accurate color representation there. Neato. And let's cut it. And surprisingly, our grayscale looks gray. So I don't even need to mess with that. This really is in cooking good shape here. Really awesome. I'm kind of really stoked to see that. So probably this could be considered a really, really good project. This is just to assess if it works. Now that I know that, I'll probably go through it, find a couple bad caps here and there, replace them, clean the controls with contact cleaner, and fix the horizontal issues. But otherwise, this thing works bitchin'. So this was a score. I'll be holding on to this one. It's got a good CRT in it, so it should last me a while. Really cool. Alright, so let's button this one up, and the next video will be the next set. Here's the next victim. It's a 1987 RCA EPR 295. It's an AC/DC color set, but it's just got the standard VHF, UHF bands, not really designed for cable. And it still has a physical on and off switch. No sound though. The screen does light up, as you can see, and it's doing its little seek thing. Let's switch it over to VHF. Let's turn our signal generator on. It doesn't tune quite right, does it? There we go. Alright, so let's see here. Okay, controls are on the side. Let's turn our brightness down a little bit. Contrast. And yeah, the contrast cranked all the way up. The pots on this are just so touchy. Fourth bar, I think, is supposed to be magenta. That's pretty close. Unmutes the sound when you have a carrier. Recall works. The thing I found unique about this set is that it wasn't used very much, obviously. It still works essentially perfectly, minus the dirty controls. But for a set that was made in 1987, it still has all the service adjustments on the back. I don't know if you can see that. The light kind of sucks in here. Let me tilt this up a little. So you've got bias and drive. You've got RB drive and you've got RG drive. Red, green, and blue bias. Sharpness, AGC. Vertical height and width over there at the bottom corner there. Kind of neat. It looks pretty ruggedly built. It's obviously not a cheap ass thing, or maybe it is. RCA Taiwan. Does that mean it's a Thomson product, or does that mean that it's utter crap? Well, anyway, for what it is. It's producing good color bars. Kind of curious to get inside of it and see what it looks like on the inside. So this is the inside of the set. Looks to be fairly well made. Got a lot of adjustments for that tuner. It's not my favorite type of tuner, but it is what it is. You got your standard high voltage here. Here's all your user controls. Horizontal output transistor there. Doesn't look very service friendly, but you could probably just slide most of this out. Let's get it on its face here. Soldering's okay. Doesn't look too bad. GEs and Thompsons are notorious for this breakage of solder, but I don't see it. The cabinet is a unified cabinet. There's no way to separate this. So basically you have to slide the chassis out and work on it that way. It makes it not so fun to service, but thankfully this doesn't need too much other than maybe cleaning some of the controls. I've got one of those digital boxes rigged up with a little 5 volt, 12 volt supply, so I could always run this as an emergency thing if I needed to. Let's look down here. Caution to avoid service, always service with isolation exformer. So it's a line operated set like most of them are. Soldering on that CRT board looks pretty good. This was definitely not used much. Not a speck of dust inside. Probably got used once or twice and then got shoved in the closet. RCA tube, but I can't figure out what it is. Oh well, this one doesn't really need anything other than some brief cleaning of controls. I'll just keep this one around as a just in case kind of thing. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this is technically TV number 3 of the ones that I got recently. However, my SD card went corrupt and I lost a bunch of the stuff, so we're going to kind of do some do-overs. This is a 1979 Hitachi 10-inch AC/DC color TV. I forget what CT number it is. Let's take a look at the back. This is the, this is the CU150S, December of 79. I got this at an estate sale for a whopping $5. It's got the cords with it and the built-in antenna and adapters, and it looks like it was really well cared for. I mean, really well cared for. There's no scratching on the sunshade. The plastic looks pretty good. Still has kind of a shine to it. Got a little bit of a rough spot here, but there's a little bit of pitting on the aluminum, which is weird because it looked like it lived in East County most of its life. So let's get this thing powered up with a signal, and we'll see what it looks like. Alright, so here we've got our DTV converter box and a simple antenna, so let's see what we get. Light to dark. Actually, it's a pretty good picture. Obviously, we've got a problem with the video smear. Turn up the color here.
Wow, so is Moonbeam coming too?
Huh, pretty good colors. Now the light to dark thing has actually kind of settled down a bit. Well, the brightness all the way down, we've got excessive brightness. Maybe there's a sub adjustment for that. Let's see here.
Touchdown on the moon at 1:18 our time. Of course, this was map.
Got a little bit of distortion there.
An incredibly free hand in developing.
Another thing I've always noticed about Hitachis is they make the flesh tones a little on the orange side. This doesn't look too bad. We can get a close-up on the screen there. Dot pitch is kind of grainy, but otherwise it looks good. Wonder why I was getting that light to dark. Maybe there's a hum in the power supply or something, or poor grounding, because I did have issues with connectivity at first. Not bad. I'm kind of curious. Let's open it up and take a look at it. Alright, so here it is with the back off. This actually is really well made. We just shine a light down in here. Layout's pretty good. It's not too crowded in here. And you've got your big heatsink there for your AC to DC converter, your step-up transformer from the 12 volts. Nicely laid out and shielded tuner. Big boards. Everything's pretty easy to get at. Looks like everything comes out as a module too, which is kind of nice. Let's see. Is there any? Let me put this down for a second. Look at the converter board here. No real crummy soldering yet, that's good. Really good soldering on the board, nothing tearing loose or nothing. There's your color crystal down there. Your 3.58 adjustment next to it. You got a transformer for something, don't know what. Maybe the audio? Well, it's transistorized, so I don't know. This thing's actually really well made. I'm impressed. Yeah, horizontal size with a jumper, vertical size, and vertical hole, which is accessible from the back. Got a vertical centering control, horizontal centering control, although none of it's accessible from the board side. So that'd be kind of a pain to adjust if you had to. Let's see if there's anything on the video board of interest. It looks like they've got a sub brightness and a sub color, AGC, all sorts of stuff on here. Well, I guess the next thing to do is let's check all the little power supply caps. Make sure there's none that are starting to open or get crummy. And we'll see if we can solve the problem with the excessive brightness. Alright, so I didn't find any bad caps. So I think we're just going to kind of mess around with this a little bit and see if I can't get the brightness to come down a little. It is pretty bright. And that's, just go to a blank channel here. We still got a little bit of haze. So let's turn the brightness up to normal. And then there's a sub-brightness potentiometer down here. Let's see if we can mess with that a little. That's a lot better. And it gives me a kind of a better range. Let's see here. I guess we can tweak the focus a little bit. I don't know, you probably can't really see that, but just touch that up a little. Go back to an actual signal here. Not bad looking. Pretty good flesh tones, nice color appearance. There's an old TV, obviously one that's not supposed to be color, but cool nonetheless. Like Grumpy Old Men or something. Let's see. Pretty good looking there. It's interesting, as it warms up, it dims. I wonder if they did that in anticipation of a dying CRT. I highly doubt it. Got a little bit of a green tinge there. There's no service switch on this one like that little Panasonic I have. Alright, we're just going to keep watching it for a little bit, because it's getting dimmer the longer it's been on. Nominally, I didn't find any bad caps, even going over it with a checker and an ESR meter. So maybe there's something else going wrong. It's still got that kind of funkiness to it. But yet when it's getting a signal, it looks fine. Vertical hole's a little slow to lock in. That looks okay now. Wish I had my little remote thing, because I hate this letterbox format. Of course, now nothing wants to work. Gotta admit, the flesh tones and stuff on this look pretty decent. Alright, so now we've got a full 4x3. I'm going to tweak the vertical size a little bit. See if we can just get rid of those blanker bars up top. Much better. Go back to that blank channel again. Well, at least the brightness is steadied out. I am kind of curious as to why it was at the beginning so drastic. I mean, you still got a little bit of variance between light and dark, so maybe further troubleshooting is necessary. I don't know. Might not be worth messing with. My curiosity sparks me, but I don't have enough time in my life to do it. I think I'll just go over it. Gotta admit though, nice looking picture. Good colors. Not as good DC restoration as the Panasonic I have. You see a lot of the blacks get blacker, like it's really crummy DC restoration. Well, it's interesting to say the least. That's the kind of thing that I'm kind of wigging out on, is why is there looking like there's so much hum there? Yeah, and it's like that. Well, no, it's only like that on UHF. Doesn't change whether AFT is on or off. Oh well, I guess we're just kind of spinning our wheels here for now. Anyway, that's my little assessment on this guy. Pretty cool little TV, actually. I might tinker around with it in the future, but for now, it just kind of is what it is. I just got done putting this board back in, and I did find a couple of loose connections on this video processor IC that kind of does everything from color to video to demodulation. So I checked that, and I resoldered a few loose connections on it. Checked all the caps. Didn't find anything that was significant, which I thought was kind of weird, but you know, whatever. I think we'll just button this thing back up and enjoy it as is. Alright, it's all buttoned back up. I couldn't find any obviously defective things, and right now the picture actually looks pretty good on it. There I don't see a lot of, maybe a little tiny bit of difference. Camera picks it up better than my eyes do, that's for sure. The camera really accentuates it. But it's got a really good picture. Good grayscale. So I think I'm just going to play it, enjoy it. It'll probably become a TV for my NES console or something, and I'll just wait until something goes into hard failure mode so it's a little bit easier to troubleshoot. But yeah, it looks good. So if you want to see the TV that came after this, that was the Panasonic CT11110 or something like that. This one's much better built than the Panasonic, but the Panasonic has a way better picture. So yeah, and then when I post the first two videos, once I finish recovering what's there, I'll kind of put together a sandwich of three videos in one, and then the Panasonic one will be separate, or I can put them all together, whichever. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. More to come soon.